Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news as Erik ten Hag receives a big INEOS boost. Sir Jim Ratcliffe in his meeting today gives a hint on things he wants to happen at Manchester United very quickly. Rabiot to United and also a major boost if you want Branthwaite to sign for Manchester United. Everton, not a boost for them, they're in all sorts of trouble and this could lead to a very quick, simple and cheap deal for Branthwaite to Manchester United. Everton are in all sorts of trouble. We'll delve into that hot off the press. Tonight, Joseph McNally says, Goldbridge being late is disrespectful. Oh, mate, grow up. You're not paying for this. It's on YouTube. It's free. I've just been chasing a bloody fly around for the last... I've had the most intelligent fly in the world in my room. I can't go live with that. It will mess with my head. So I'm hot, I'm flustered, and I still can't find the bloody fly. It's the most intelligent fly in the world. It parks its arse somewhere. I'm flying around with the dishcloth, and it waits it out until I sit down, and it'll start flying again. Absolute cretin. Not you, Joseph, the fly. Anyway, let's get into it. I hope you're all doing very well. We've got loads to get into on the show tonight. But before we do that, Manscaped are sponsoring the show. The code is TUS. What's the deal with Manscaped? Well, Man United need to trim their yard to make the squad look better. You can trim your yard. Yes, I mean the yard down there with the lawnmower. This is the GOAT. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Delivered to your door. 20% off. Free worldwide shipping. Get the lawnmower. Makes a big difference. It's got a light on there for a more precise shave, or maybe you fancy doing it in the garden shed in the dark. Who knows? They've also got the beard trimmer, which I use a lot. Is absolutely fantastic. 11 different lengths on that. They've got the weed whacker for your nose, or if you're really old, your ears. I've never heard of anybody in the 20s having ear hair. And then you've got the handyman as well, which you can charge up and take around you everywhere. It will tidy up your neck. You can actually... go clean shaven if anybody does that these days, but I use it as a bit of a tidy up as well. All delivered to your door. Get whichever ones you want or all of them. 20% off whatever you order with the code TUS. They're fantastic products. Big shout out to Manscaped. Trim the garden, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Your balls will be thankful. Anyway, they'll certainly be more exposed. Let's get into the show. We're going to start off with the Ten Hag story. I'm very much interested in the Branthwaite story. Effectively, Everton maybe going into administration. They're absolutely broke. They could be facing more points deductions next season. And to comply with financial fair play, they may need to raise money before June the 30th. So there's a real opportunity for Manchester United to make a very quick deal with Branthwaite. We'll talk about that in a moment, though, because there has been a major meeting today. We spoke about this morning. There's been a big meeting today between Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the hierarchy. Obviously, Barada's not coming in yet, but we'll work closely with Blanc on the transition, and Blanc will stay involved around Manchester United. He's the CEO. Check the morning show this morning. But what came out of this meeting today that we don't already know? Well, apparently Sir Jim Ratcliffe told the board today that he expects Dan Ashworth to be at Manchester United very soon. So that's a positive. We need to get that done ASAP. But The Athletic and Adam Crafton have put some stuff out this evening, and it goes like this. For now, Manchester United continue to insist they are planning with Erik ten Hag in mind for next season. And although INEOS will not hesitate if it sees sufficient evidence that change is needed, they've also acknowledged and believe that Man United's executive team above Ten Hag did not provide him with the greatest chance to succeed over the last 2 years, as well as a lack of clear alternatives and the cost of firing him and hiring a replacement being a reason that they may well stick with him. So what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? It's not what we haven't heard before. This was the initial reaction of Jason Wilcox, which I think I mentioned on Sunday. Wilcox has been there for about a week or two now. His initial feedback is that he likes Ten Hag. He likes what Ten Hag wants to do. He can see the squad limitations and he can see the issues that have gone on for the last season and beyond Ten Hag. Because that feedback I didn't read in the Athletic article, but is also acknowledged by Sir David Brailsford's strategic review in speaking to other people. I think he spoke to Solskjaer. I don't think he spoke to Mourinho. But it's not just Ten Hag and assessing that, they're also assessing the last 5 to 10 years and, you know, why Mourinho failed, why Ollie failed. And people don't take this on board. This is absolute fact. As part of the strategic review that Sir David Brailsford's carried out, he's also looking beyond Ten Hag. He's looking at the Rangnick mistakes. He's looking at the Ollie mistakes. He's looking at the Mourinho mistakes. This is good because the bigger the evidence pool, the more themes you'll highlight. Things that were happening under Mourinho, that happened under Ollie, that happened under Rangnick, that happened under Ten Hag. So I feel that what we're getting at the moment from INEOS is a period of stability and projection. We've seen over the last couple of days that they want to clear out players to raise money and reset the football club and restructure the football club. We've seen that there are a lot of things going to change. They've brought in their own interim CEO and removed the interim that had been put in place after Arnold went. And I think what they're doing at the moment is, yes, the manager is a topic for conversation, but it's not at the top of their list at the moment. What they want to do is put their structures in place above the manager so that when they make a decision on the manager, it comes from the structure above and that is ready to go. And I think that's where we are at the moment. I detect a real calmness from INEOS around the managerial situation. I suspect that many of us would have quite liked them to have come out and said something one way or the other because we've had the media shitstorm for weeks. But I think INEOS have just sort of left them to it. And I think they've gone, let people talk. We want to get our board and our structure in place. And then, and only then, will we make a decision on the manager. But of course, one of the big things is that you can get to the end of the season. You can sack Erik Ten Hag, but everything you put in place around signings and sales could be jeopardised by that when the next guy comes in and says, I don't want to sell him and I don't want to sign him. And that is problematic, as well as the fee that you've got to pay Ten Hag to go, the fee you've got to pay the new manager to come in, the different transfer funds. So look, it's very, very clear that at the moment, INEOS are carrying on as usual with the manager that they have around targets and sales. That can change very quickly. Of course it can. But I think at the moment they are definitely following a business as usual path and seeing what the next few weeks bring. I think the real positive for us as fans is that, and I know there was a shitstorm this morning. So basically, Martinez is back in training, and but there was a clip put out by Sky Sports of him training, which was a few weeks old or a few months old. So there was a lot of stuff on social media this morning, sort of taking the piss out of Sky and Man United for the clip going out there. I never really understood what the point was. He is in training. It's just the wrong clip. So I think people made a very big deal of that when actually I think it was very minor. And my point is, Martinez is back in training. Luke Shaw's very close. Varane's very close. Rashford's going to be back very soon as well. I think over the next few weeks, Ten Hag's going to be able to put a more stable team out at least once or twice. And I think in those games, that's going to give INEOS a real insight as to what a Ten Hag first team looks like. Now, there will be some leeway on that. They'll still accept that he needs more players, but they will expect to see that first team do better than what's been happening over the last few weeks. Let the good news continue. More to come soon, says Tom Grant. Connor says, I'm loving the shows. Did you know United have dropped 17 points from winning positions in the Premier League this season? Those points put us in third. What are your thoughts, says Connor? I personally think that if we had Martinez and Shaw, we'd be in fourth place. We'd have another 10 points. I know that doesn't put us in fourth place, but I think we'd be in a fourth place race. Petition to name Old Trafford's East Stand the Goal Bridge. Yeah, that's never going to happen, Scott. Get Thomas Frank from Brentford and play a low block, says Stephen. Oh, you really are depressed, Stephen, aren't you? You really are. Sancho interview, says Jamie. I'm not aware of a Sancho interview. I'll certainly come on to it in a little bit. It's May. It is May, Linda, and I'm going to give out some free memberships. I always do that at the start of the month. So if anyone feels like giving out memberships today, let's call it a membership gifting day. I'm going to give out some memberships in a moment or two. So thanks everyone who's tuning in. Yeah, so look, if you're tuning in a little bit late, very interesting stuff coming out from Athletic about Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his meeting today, telling people that he expects the return, he expects Dan Ashworth to come in soon, and that there is a general understanding that the structure above Erik Ten Hag hasn't been good enough, and there's a sympathy there around that. In other matters, this was quite interesting. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has ordered Manchester United's non-football staff back into their offices in Manchester and London, insisting the club must end its work from home culture. Oh, it's Jurassic Park, Jim. Boo to that. I used to work for somebody like this. He basically thought if you work from home, you were sat at home watching Netflix in your pajamas, eating toast. I did do that, but I got my job done. The initiative has been led by INEOS and was trailed to staff members during a meeting on Wednesday. Plans did receive some previous pushback from members of the club's executive leadership, including the previous CEO, Patrick Stewart, whose impending departure was announced on Tuesday night. I mean, it's irrelevant, really. But Sir Jim Ratcliffe is starting to crack the whip, and people are starting to lose their jobs in the non-footballing roles. So that's what that's all about as well. Sir Jim Ratcliffe also reiterated to staff in a meeting on Wednesday afternoon that he is confident Man United will soon be the leading club in world football again, and spoke about being determined to make it happen as quickly as possible. INEOS is seeking to bring United's costs down as part of its restructuring process, with the club losing 42 million overall despite posting 648 million in profit. Man United hope the cost savings review will help them comply with Premier League and UEFA's regulations, allowing for greater investment in the playing squad. Yeah, look, a lot of people are going to lose their job. I think we all know about that. That's going to happen. But it's interesting that Sir Jim Ratcliffe thinks he can take us back to the top. Full stop. I mean, I'm not even going to ask how long it's going to take. I think it's a really difficult job to take Manchester United back to the top of world football. I said this 6 months ago, and I'll say it again. This is not anti-Sir Jim. This is not anti-INEOS. I think the world of football is more than saying we're going to be the biggest club in the world again. There's nothing I want more than Man United to be the biggest club in world football again. But as somebody that's watched football throughout the entirety of the Premier League era, I just don't see it. I don't see it being that straightforward. And I don't actually believe you can be at the top of world football again like we were. I presume Sir Jim is referring to the Sir Alex Ferguson days. I just don't think that's possible anymore. Not unless you're Man City. And I don't think that will last forever. I think you can get back to the top amongst a clutch of teams, but I don't see us dominating in the Premier League like we did under Sir Alex ever again. You know, for me, it's just about getting back there, being competitive and winning a Premier League title or two. I just don't see how that's possible. Is that a bit of naivety for INEOS? Aim for the shoot for the planets, you'll hit the stars. They actually are further away than planets, but I think it's a very difficult job. But you know, I'm here to see it. I mean, I don't put that expectation. What I'm trying to say is, I don't put that demand on Sir Jim Ratcliffe that he's got to take us back to the very top of English football again, and so that we're dominating. I don't think that's possible anymore. I think I want to just be in the top group. That would be good. Same as what Musk did with Twitter, says Damo. And unless INEOS keep Erik ten Hag, I will never believe a word they say, says Tay. Paul Crampton's gifted 5 memberships, by the way. What a legend. Gems has gifted 5 memberships. Another legend. And Stylish Furniture and Herminator, welcome to the Members Club. You're legends as well. Hughes Ladd has gifted a membership as well. And Wayne Finnegan, who's been a member for 45 months, says, evening, I can see a clear plan now. Something us as fans haven't seen. The future is bright, says Wayne. Lovely stuff. Lovely to see some positivity in there. Right, moving away from that, what I was going to lead on tonight, but I hadn't read the article from The Athletic. I'm going to give some memberships in a moment as well. This story is really interesting. I think that we've been talking a lot about sales and players coming in, and it's really, really important to start, homing in on the players that we're actually looking at and that we want to sign. Todibo, Nice, owned by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, less than £40 million. Very, very likely, very, very straightforward deal to do if we decide that he is the one we want. Branthwaite. Everton are reportedly ready to sell him in order to comply with the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules, and they may need to do it by June the 30th. Less than 10 weeks away. Less than 2 months away, sorry. They're in big trouble, Brighton. Everton. There's no two ways about it. They have got huge issues around the people who are meant to be buying the club. There's loans. There's all sorts going on. There's talk of them filing for administration, which is effective bankruptcy. So Everton are, they've had problems anyway this season. They've had a couple of fines. They've had a couple of points deductions. They're going to stay up. but it looks like they're going to be facing more problems. There was talk this morning that they might even sell Jordan Pickford. Well, I think they're certainly going to be cashing in on Branthwaite when they've got a very receptive buyer in Manchester United. But of course, this is not Manchester United of old. This is not the Man United that walk into Everton when they're desperate and they can buy Fellaini for 20 million less than they did, and then they spend 20 million more. This is not the Man United that's going to go, you're desperate to sell, are you? Here's 80 million for Branthwaite. I think we're going to see a very, very different approach from Manchester United. I think we will be tapping in early to Everton and saying this is the player that we want, if we want him. And we will also be saying, look, let's get this deal done quickly. There's the cash. Let's do it. What the price would be, well, it won't be 80 million quid. I mean, I would say you start the bidding at 40, see what they do. I mean, the only problem you're going to have with Branthwaite is that there may be another club that comes in. So as much as Everton are desperate, if United offer 40 and then someone else comes in and offers 50, the price starts going up, and it doesn't matter how desperate Everton are, there is competition for the player. So we could still get priced out, but I think Everton are in a position where they're not in a good position at all. They're financially crippled, and they may also be facing very, very severe points deductions again if they don't sell players before the end of June, which I think Chelsea are in a similar situation as well. So if you are a fan of Branthwaite and you want Branthwaite to be Manchester United's centre-back signing, and he's on Man United's list as we think he is, then there's a real chance that they can just get into Everton now and start saying, look, let's get this deal done. Of course, Branthwaite might go to the Euros. So, but that goes on to something else. I think we've got to be aggressive in this transfer window and progressive in this transfer window. What's aggressive and progressive? Using June. And I'm not talking about June from reception. I'm talking about June the month. If we wait for the Euros to pass us by, which I was doing some research on this the other day. We had the Euros when we signed, I think it was the Euros when we signed Zlatan and Pogba and Mkhitaryan, because I remember doing Zlatan watch. And we did get those deals, well, we got Zlatan done during June, and that was Mourinho's first summer. Traditionally, we don't really do anything in June. We didn't really do anything last year. I think Mount was it. I think the year before, it probably was one. Trying to think who it would have been the year before. I can't remember. That was Ten Hag's first summer, wasn't it? Who was Ten Hag's very first signing? Was it Eriksen? Was it Malacia? Look, we don't normally do much in June, but this year we have to because there's so much to do in and out. I don't even care if we don't sign a player in June, as long as we clear some players out in June. So we have to get on with it. And if that's Branthwaite, then fine. I suppose the only thing I would say about Branthwaite is he's a left-footed centre-back. So are we going to sign a left-footed centre-back? And I've seen some people, some United fans are quite opposed to signing a left-footed centre-back because we've got Martinez. But that doesn't actually make any sense. Like, having two left-footed centre-backs and two right-footed centre-backs is the balance we need. You can't not buy Branthwaite because you've got Martinez. I mean, we've played with two right-footed centre-backs. You can play with two left-footed centre-backs as well. It doesn't mean that Branthwaite and Martinez can't play a game together at some point for rotational reasons or whatever. So, look, we do need two left-footed centre-backs. So, just to those people who say, I wouldn't buy Branthwaite because we've got Martinez, we need a left-footed centre-back. Like, we do. Whoever it is, we do need a left-footed centre-back. Because I think we've got one left-footed centre-back and 4 right-footed centre-backs, so we definitely need one. We definitely do. And if it's not Branthwaite, it's somebody else. But I want to see 2 centre-backs coming to United. I'm very happy with Branthwaite and Todibo. I'd be very happy with Branthwaite and Guehi as well, but we've got to bring 2 in. Who do I think is the better of all of them? I think Todibo's a really interesting profile centre-back. I think he's going to be a real... I believe Todibo will be a very, very good player when he comes to the Premier League. And I think Branthwaite's going to be good as well. Hi, Mark. Hope you're well. I think my home-time team, Carlisle, have a sell-on clause for Branthwaite. Would be incredible for the club financially, says Ryan. Well, you're going to get that at some point. Damo says, same as what Musk did with Twitter. We've done that one. Stylish Furniture, thank you very much for your super chat. Lightning says, Branthwaite's also got a very good weak foot. It's probably a bit like me. I mean, I'm brilliant with my left foot, but I'm actually right-footed. We don't know what, says G-Man, condition Martinez will be back in when he comes back. We need more centre-backs in this team. And Jason Carter says, Man United still over £300 million in transfer fees. I doubt they'll be saying, here's the cash. You got to raise the cash, Jason. We've got to raise the cash. Look, you're absolutely correct to highlight these issues. We absolutely have got to be raising money this summer. Absolutely. Just on Varane, by the way, that's not changed. Varane is expected to leave the club for nothing in a few weeks' time. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with this. I think it's a massive, massive mistake, but we're doing it for money. Letting Varane walk away at 31 for nothing will look really bad if he goes to Bayern Munich or another Premier League club and continues to play at the top level for another couple of years. It doesn't mean we're wrong to get rid of him, but we'd only be doing it for financial reasons. Would we be doing this if he was on a good wage with 2 years left on his contract? No. We're doing this for money. That's all. That's the only reason. Varane is on £300,000 a week, and we can just clear that tomorrow. So that's why we're doing it. Varane, for me, is still our best centre-back. I do. I think he's better than Martinez. I think Varane is still our best centre-back. Yes, there are injury concerns, but I still think he's our best centre-back. So letting him walk out the door for nothing, we will save his wage, but I still think there's a value there. I just think it's the fact that his contract's running out that we're doing it. Aditya says, I think we dodged a couple of bullets with Kim and Disasi. We would have had more Maguires in the squad. I still think Kim Min-jae is a good player. I just think people just home in on a bad performance. If you watch Van der Ven play against Newcastle, you'd think he was total crap. He's actually one of the best centre-backs in the league. Brandon Williams is not featured for Ipswich since December. If you didn't already know, the kid is completely off the rails, says Jacob. Well, he's going to be completely off our books, thank God, in a couple of months. And I don't say that with any pleasure. But Brandon Williams is out of contract in a couple of months, and it's up to him what he does with the rest of his career. And I have no anecdotes, I have no evidence, but I know he's on 50 grand a week, and that's a lovely saving for Manchester United for a player that never should have been given that contract. I mean, Brandon Williams got a 50 grand a week contract from the Glazers and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for a handful of decent games. The fact that he's out of contract, it's not our problem. I hope he can go and rebuild his career elsewhere, but I don't know. Some people say the money's gone to his head. He's, we've heard those. Wasn't there an interview last year when he looked like he'd had something and he was going on about something? I don't know. It's I never really give a shit what people do off the pitch, what their personalities are like. It's what they do on the pitch, and I hoped that Brandon Williams would go to Ipswich and, maybe rediscover himself and, be an ex-Man United youth player that does well in the game, and he still could. But I never really got it. I honestly never really got it anyway. I mean, the right-footed left-back thing, I never really got it. He did do reasonably well, and he's got a real good temper on him, which I thought was quite appealing when he first came through. But the right-footed left-back thing, I never understood it. Never understood it, really. So he is not a player that we need to concern ourselves with, much the same as Martial and Varane. They're out of contract in the summer. They're going to be gone. They're not going to be Man United's wages to pay anymore. Don't get me wrong, I love Varane, but I just don't think Varane is worth the cost. Can't have him as a bench player for important games on those wages, says Sakin. And Greenwood's contract, oh God, itchy nose. Greenwood's contract extended till 2026, says Ali. God, I've got a really itchy nose. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. It's allergies. Varane is top, but I'm sure he said he has CTE, says Paul Thompson. And also, Greenwood's contract was extended. Oh, it's really itching. It's probably that bloody fly. Anyway, my point is that the Greenwood thing, it's the option. The reason we've done that, if we've done that, and I have heard that we've done it, to be fair, is that his contract was up next summer, but there's an option of another year. So by adding that year on, you're basically increasing his value this summer. So clubs can't basically come into us and say, he's only got a year left on his contract, we'll give you 20 million. We can now say he's got 2. Don't get me wrong. I've done that one. Thank you very much. Just as an added feature to the show, it's worth mentioning that, and I'm going to give away some memberships in a minute. It's worth mentioning that there's strong rumours again from Italy around Rabiot. Now, I think Rabiot is highly likely for Manchester United this summer. I certainly think we're going to have a go because Rabiot has a Blanc connection, I believe, maybe. PSG. Don't know what Blanc thought of him, though. That might be an interesting one. Ten Hag's been interested in getting Rabiot for the last couple of years, and he's out of contract. So I think that Man United may well go back in for that. Now, what you think about that is up to you. I mean, I would probably rather go for an Edison or the Wolves lad than Rabiot, but we have tried 2 times, so I certainly would keep that one in mind. That I do think that Frimpong, Rabiot, Branthwaite, Todibo, Elise, they'd be the 5 I think at the moment. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie about that, and I keep saying that. Right, I'm just about to gift some memberships here. How many have I got? Okay, let's give 5. 5 gifted. There you go. And I'm going to give away another 5 tomorrow night. So make sure you're tuning in at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Start of the month, always do it. Yeah. Interesting. Now, somebody said, are you going to talk about what Jadon Sancho said? I'm not too sure what he said. I mean, look, I'm doing a watch along after this for Dortmund PSG, and I'm looking forward to it. George Mendes has spoken to Radcliffe, and he's got a lot of clients who play for PSG. Jadon Sancho is obviously still a Man United player. I want him to play well. Why do I want him to play well? Because there'll be a lot of people watching this game tonight, not just fans, but scouts and other clubs. And he's a player that people know is up for sale. So if he plays well tonight, then it's an opportunity to come out and perform well. I can't see what Jadon Sancho said. I can't see a quote from Jadon Sancho at all. I know somebody said he'd done an interview, but I can't see it. Let's have a look. Oh, my nose is running now. I haven't got a tissue. Let's have a look. No, I don't know. I don't know what he said. The amount of heartbreak saved me for 2 years, says Stylish Furniture. Thank you very much. And it will be an interesting to see what striker we get in the world. Could give Sesko a chance, says Lyndon. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know about the striker. I don't know anybody that does know anything about the striker. And God, do I ask. I mean, look, take it or leave it, believe it or not. We were ahead of the game with Rasmus last summer before anybody else. The summer before, we were ahead of the game about Anthony before anybody else. You can make things up. You can figure it out. You can do whatever you like. We were ahead of the game about Alexis Sanchez all those years ago. Like, nobody. One thing I will always say is, whether you believe we get information, and I think people who watch the show know that we do sometimes, or whether you believe somebody out there gets absolutely everything, they don't. Fabrizio doesn't break every transfer news, and we certainly don't get everything, and neither does anybody else. In this game called the football industry, you get what you get from the relationships that you build, but everyone else has got different relationships. So somebody sitting there on Twitter or on a video or on a website as a journalist telling you this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. They don't have everything. They'll have sources. Everybody's got sources. But on the striker situation, nobody's saying anything at the moment. Now, I've said to you before, I don't really maintain those WhatsApp groups when the season's up and running, because I'm more interested in that. This is the start of time where I'll start, asking for stuff and trying to find out some stuff, and hopefully we will be able to get some stuff again. Not all of it's from journalists or agents, so sometimes it's from players and stuff like that as well. So, we'll see what we can get. But I think that what I have seen a lot of over the last few weeks is bullshit. I mean, I was reading an article today, and I won't name the outlet, but they were talking about Branthwaite because I wanted to double check something. So I'd searched Branthwaite and I was reading some articles about him. And there was a journalist in a newspaper, a well-known newspaper, and a journalist that is quite well known as well, saying that as we revealed a couple of weeks ago, Man United are really interested in Branthwaite. And I thought, and they had a link to the article 2 weeks ago. And I was like, hold on a minute. I mean, Fabrizio's mentioned Branthwaite on this channel months ago. Branthwaite and Man United has been months. So you do get people who start to try and claim a story because they mentioned it after somebody else. So, look, I think I'm excited about who the striker is going to be because there is absolutely no doubt in this fan base, in Ten Hag's mind, in INEOS's mind, even in Rasmus's mind, he knows he needs a striker. I would guarantee that someone like Rasmus would be going, well, I do need a striker. Like, I can't play 90 minutes 3 times a week. I do need another striker just for my own fitness, but also for my own development. I need a bit of competition. I need to work with another striker. So he's going to want one as well. Who it's going to be, I think it's going to be really, really, really interesting. But look, I think the last few days on this channel has been a breath of fresh air. And I think the last few days in relation to news coming out around Man United has been a breath of fresh air as well. I remember saying this in the international break. I wanted to be talking about sales and purchases. And it was all about Gareth Southgate. And it does your head in. It's a negative conversation. Sacking a manager, keeping a manager. I want to talk about the major problem at United, which is the team isn't good enough. So it's got to be about sales and purchases. And what we've had over the last few days, and fair play for INEOS or whoever it is letting it out there, is a rejuvenated fan base. I mean, it's a shame we're not playing till next Monday because I think there is a real buzz around the team and the fan base at the moment. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to do. It will be challenging. We do have big debts, and we're not owned by Qatar. So we've not got hundreds of millions of pounds ready to spend. It's just a matter of how you get it into the club. I don't think INEOS are sat there with $500 million trying to figure a way to get it into the club. They're going to have to raise the funds through being efficient in what we buy and efficient in what we sell. But that's not a bad thing. The last thing we want to do is accumulate more players. We need to bring in better players and remove a lot of players. Would you take Arahu or Branthwaite, says Abdul. The Arahu's, I can't even pronounce his name, but it's bullshit. This Barcelona story about Arahu is bollocks. I don't know why we keep getting linked to him every single summer. We're not getting him. I know it was mentioned last weekend, but I didn't mention it. We need a striker. We need someone who's going to actually pass to him as well, says Fairway 5. Wealthy, understudy, invest elsewhere, says Stylish Furniture. Thank you very much. United Stand gifted 5 memberships. That was me, sorry. Priority should be a winger passing the ball. We cannot play more than one from Garnacho, Rashford and Anthony, or Rasmus will never get the ball, says Joe. But in relation to that, the interest in, and it mustn't be dismissed, I think everybody wants to solve our summer transfer window now and say these are the players that we're buying. It's important to just go through the positions. Right back, Frimpong. Centre-backs, Todibo, Guehi, Branthwaite. Left-back, don't know. Maybe Altnori at Wolves. Midfielders, don't really know. Maybe Edison, Atalanta. Maybe the Wolves midfielder. Is it Gomez, I think? Maybe Humland at Sporting Lisbon. Maybe Rabiot. Wingers, Elise Neto. Like, we do know names that United are interested in. Doesn't mean we're going to buy those players. There could be, and I hope there are, a couple of surprises. But we do need a winger, you're right. But as I said a few weeks ago, that fly just landed on me bloody head. What is it about flies and geese and bloody... Where's it gone? This fly has been quiet with major lights for half an hour and it's just dive-bombed me. That's going to be a meme. I'm fed up of it. Fruit sellers, geese, ducks, and now a bloody fly. Why isn't it flying again? Why is it just dive-bombed me? It's a big one as well. Oh, I feel like I need a shower. Oh, I hate that. It just dropped on my head and went, and then down my face. I think it's. I don't know whether anybody knows anything about flies, but I think it's. I think it's at the end of its life. You know, when it's ran out of energy. I think that might be it. Someone just said it's still on your head. Oh, I hate them. I'm not joking. Like, I had my dinner about an hour and a half ago. Seb came in to play wrestling. He said, there's a fly in here. We turned everything off. I heard it. We couldn't see it. It's quite a dark room. I went and got a dishcloth. And I whacked everywhere around the room. You know, you can normally get them going. And I left it 5 minutes. And it started again. And then I whacked everything round. And for the last 45 minutes, it's not done anything. And then in the stream, it's just dropped on my head. It's the cleverest fly I've ever known. And I don't even know where it's gone now. Little shit. I'm telling you. It's got me rattled. Be death by Manscaped. The lawnmower is going to fuck you up, mate. I don't know where he went. Fly watch. Is that it on the floor? No. That's a bit of plastic. It's messing with my head, mate. It's winding me up. Anyway, sorry. Flybridge says stylish furniture. Yes, I just think in relation to the wingers, it's very important to talk about Neto and Elise. And as I said about Elise a few weeks ago, it was on a Sunday morning show, wasn't it? I think it said done deal or something like that. People were like, "Rah." But follow the information. Elise wants to come to Manchester United. Elise has a release clause. Manchester United have held conversations with his representatives. That deal can be done if United want to do it. So the question is, will United do it? And how do they facilitate spending what will probably be £50 million on Elise? How do they facilitate that deal in relation to where do you raise your funds? Do you keep everybody? The fly is a Glazer sympathiser, says Summy. I'm gonna fuck that fly up. Basically, I will not be accepting. I don't know who they think they are, but I'm the star of this show, not Fred the fucking fly. Fred's back again, isn't he? Fred the fly. Don't worry, this is just my life now. Every now and again, these sort of things happen. Dortmund versus PSG. I'm live in about 10 minutes. I've got to sort this fly out first. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be interested to know what happened with the fly, but I will surely let you know. Realistically, how would you solve the issues of providing service to the strikers? Says Omka. I love this question. Very, very simple. How do you get service into Rasmus Højlund? Easy. Or a striker. Very easy. You got to get your defensive line high. So Martinez and, let's say, Todibo. You then get your fullbacks, let's say Luke Shaw and Dalot, to push forward. And you need two centre-backs who can be left on their own. As soon as your fullbacks know they can get forward, you've got doubled up on the flanks and they can invert into the midfield. More numbers on the flanks and in the midfield leads to more options. Leads to more options, leads to the defensive side not finding as so predictable. Leads to the ability to put more crosses into the box or get more ball into the box. We've got to get up the pitch. We've got to get our fullbacks up the pitch. And also, having two wingers that just want to shoot doesn't help. So the profile of your wingers needs to change. I would bring in one winger who actually just wants to get assists. I think that would help us a lot, because at the moment, even if you've got your overlapping wingers or you get forward, we've still got wingers that want to shoot both sides. I don't mind having one, but we need another winger whose profile is more creative, definitely. I didn't see any sense in getting a new winger, says Florian. As long as the wingers don't put crosses in, shouldn't be a centre-back, FB, CDM be the priority. Well, I think we just answered that, Florian. Name the fly Callum, just like your Twitter hater, says Mario Frank. That guy. He's on LinkedIn, you know, as well. He was in more, you know, LinkedIn. Twitter I get, but on LinkedIn, which is a professional platform, handing out abuse on there. I mean, the funny thing is, he goes on another channel. It's definitely just jealousy. It's weird. It's really, really weird. I mean, I could file a harassment charge against him if I wanted to. It's just that relentless. But I actually feel sorry for him. I think there's a problem there, to be honest. It's just weird. especially for somebody you've never met. Like, to be absolutely obsessed about a personality that you've never met is strange behaviour. Anyway, we wish Callum all the best. Mark, you missed my earlier super chat. Would you fancy anyone from the current Liverpool or Chelsea squad? Mate, Sahaj, how long's your list? What do you think about tossing on a free transfer? I think he's going to Newcastle, mate. I think he's going to Newcastle. Take care, everyone. I will see you over on That's Football in about 5 minutes, actually. It's 10 to 8. Shit, I better get moving. I'll see you there in a minute. Great show tonight, actually, legends. And don't forget to check out Manscaped. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. 20% off, free delivery with the code TUS. Where's that fucking fly?